Abusia, Kevin Ekobadu Taylor na sesia ya dia MPP top officials, MPP top gurus ababonten eden sem ede abre eye Kevin Ekobadu Taylor na abusia. Dia nsem eno omo eka nsem omo kan ina ne se Kevin enya agya tum anasa waka se obegu eye MPP party ne ekwan bia so ogu MPP party nti se ne ebe ya enha adwe no obesre sanka MPP mpinifo ebe nya adwe nti se ne wanya sa adwe na anka beye ne de so mbe kono makopa eye Kevin Ekobadu Taylor omo be pa na chew because ne Kevin eye no egu eye MPP party no abusia na wohwe yawa ode eka sansam we a osrese omonko pa eye Kevin Ekobadu Taylor boni biara MPP aye enioma bi omo aye ede atia eye Ganafo ene ni omo aye ede atia eye Kevin Taylor nunti ama sisi o sinke eye MPP party no omo enko pa eye Kevin ache na abusia ode ensem no ade tudwa ewe ye live TV so we dey ma mekasa wampese ye ko ne kotie ensem no mu ankasa enchire mu ne free MPP top officially anum eba o kase Ghana politics nyina ejina eye Kevin Ekobadu Taylor chese ejina ne nan so ono ena o kase ye gu ade anase ye say ade ampanso be make sure say sa ade no obeye nti abusua ode ade srede kese ede ato eye MPP empenifuo anim eye His Excellency former president Nana Akufo-Addo ene ye papa John Ajekum Kufuor a osrese omo enko no mo nkopa eye Kevin achew abusa we dey ma mekasa wampese ye ko kokotie ensem mu ankasa enchire mu me Kevin ekaaye enu nti papa yi ababonte o de sansem we e de tudwa e hada so ye be media GH abusa se ene de come channel this one need no bu kwan so e be subscribe amaye bo notification bell no so for more podcast updates yen kwani ntie ensem a abusia ababonten this time ena sesia yedas
Ghana media for nyina omu Messi omu Ronaldo and Kevin Taylor. That man is a powerful man in this planet. Ghana politics ebejina ebegu ebetonsiuma kini kuta Kevin Taylor afi the imagine the diampa Kevin Taylor to abewi Kevin Taylor kasesi wa be MPP party what does obegu no MPP for MPP atakoma Kevin Taylor say boni bia e dey bia o fanche MPP for.
The reason why the NPP looked relevant or considered to be relevant for all these years was because the NDC as a political party failed to devise a strategy to kill fake news or to stop Jandam. And I say NDC as a political party, they failed to understand, say, asema obika eyatro, you need to quickly react to it. Now, when the NPP started denigrating, discrediting, lying, and forming a alliance with other people to lie about everything, about Ghana politics, the NDC, on the other hand, they thought to say MPP for Ronaldo point to be we as a people will come to that realization, say it's a party that lies. It's a party that was built out of lies. So the mistake the NDC made, and I'm not going to restrict this to only the NDC, the mistake the other democratic parties made, and also a contesting in our elections made, was that they underestimated NPP atro. The NPP was built out of lies. The leadership of the NPP had only one agenda, and that agenda was to lie and I say omubechatro amanato Ghana phobi trim titru akamfo, and most importantly asantifo trim, for them to have a certain perception or a certain kind of posture towards NDC and any political party that basically align themselves with the ideologies of J.J. Rawlings NDC. In this study from 1992, the NDC built different kinds of a message, and the message was basically to make Ghanaians believe, say, any person who is associated with the NDC or any party that is not linked to the NPP automatically is the enemy of some group of people in Ghana. And it's our study of politics now. The NPP started becoming irrelevant. Abra social media basically took over politics around the world, and that is from 2020, or let's say before that's 2017 thereabouts. When social media took over politics, when conversations were moved from traditional radio, print, when conversations were moved from marketplaces, church, pulpits, when conversations were moved from the streets onto social media where everybody could access, the NPP started becoming irrelevant in our political settings. Now, they became irrelevant because now people had access to information, and people also have the same access to verify the information. So the message of the NPP became difficult to sync. They now started to struggle. Now, they still believed that when they still believed, say almost take it to the old 442 formation, the old format of inciting people against a group of people who belong to a political party, or creating the impression that a political party that isn't NPP is against the people who support NPP. They were going to have their way. Now, the mistake the NDC and we Ghanaians made from 1992 all the way to 2012, let's say 2012, was that we had allowed NPP and any surrogates, any omomotiti radios, any TV, so to get away with a lot of lies. So when lies are told consistently or continuously, they somehow start to look like the truth. At a point, Ghanaians believed in things that they believed in things that did not exist. And they said, Obi creative bibia to Tim say, with all due respect, we see baby amount. Na sa baby ne de a hono your last point into obra obon wahana, it does not matter. Say unye Christoni, ana unye Muslimi, ana unye Jew ni, ana won sombosom. Na say bi kura obi sombosoma. Say we Christoni na bosomsum ni approach you. No catch out say eya bosom na osom no or effective. Bosom na aboa no manetumi si dan. Bosom na aboa no manetumi ne mbako school. Bosom na aboa no amanetumi ayi nyoma bi. And I'm not speaking against obi osom bosom. It applies to other religion. Ebi a we Muslimi, Christoni betuma be catch out say opesa we ye Christoni because Christosom no aboa no mana say. Ebi a Muslim ni betuma approach obi a osom bosom aka chen say eye nkremosom no aboa no amana ye say wenya we. Now, the first time the person approaches you, you actually come out and tell the person, say, oh boy, miss some na team ye. But when that person continuously, consistently push that agenda in your head, say, nis somono, eye chen was somono, it gets to a point you start to question what's some. For all you know, ebia nis somona or kachono, there are so many things in that osoma obwa. But he just wants you to come join him. Ewo nisumnim. Inti consistently. Se ostatika tu utrim se nisumni ya chen wasumna. Esumna uwomno. Dia wunya wasa osumnim kura. You will not value it. You will think say it is not enough. So you will still feel say that person nisumno better than wasumno. And that is Adia MPP yeah from 1992. And from 1992, the NPP, the NDC all came out to campaign. But for some reason, the NPP for messaging now was that NDC for you to travel. Omo free soldier buying when the buy into be or join NDC biano sebio or for soldier buying into a so. But remember, NPP as a political party, all the coups are a see Ghana and Sana JJ Rawlings Ebeku 1979 and 1982 or 83, no. Now all the coups now ya no Ghana no. The NPP that has changed its name to become NPP today, no, they were involved in every single coup that had happened in this country. About 6 coups, the NPP were in there. But for some reason, 1992, yaba democracy, no, all that the NPP preached was that NDC to join NDC, to train him. They did not talk about JB Dankwa's involvement in the previous coup say see how Dankwa Busia Dombomo were part, they masterminded the killing of Akroma, how they made sure Kotokamo, any a free famo, any Omokana Omuye Soja for Muyekuno. They don't talk about that because they wanted you to believe something that did not exist. Into from 1992, majority of Ghanaians did not even understand why NDC war, because they created that impression, and it was a consistent doctrine. It was a persistent doctrine. It was a doctrine that was done not just on the street, it was also infused into our education. Because who will be to say he was the man behind the social studies books. So all the books that we read, time and year what JHS, primary, do this time, no, social studies, no, all the history, we thought people wrote to make sure say our past is being recorded and archived, you know. Edubwa Hinana Oye, a founding member of the NPP, you know, they make sure say when they write or they were writing about Ghana's history when it came to politics, you know, they make sure say everything was centered on the actions of the PNDC era. They did not put a lot of emphasis on Efrifa, on Kotoka, on the other coups that happened before JJ Rawlings, because when they emphasize on those coups, what will happen? And they say now the young people will start to understand. They say the PNDC JJ Rawlings era, no, it wasn't bad, because say Oshe the 1979 coup and the 1982-83 coup, now that was the coup that brought us to independence. But the coups that were orchestrated and sponsored by the NPP UP and the Omo Jankwa Buzia group, now those coups na see it did not pave way for Kebimami Kebi in Ghana. That is why Edubwa Hindems moved away or never emphasized on the previous coups but emphasized on the 1979 coup, 1983 coup, because they wanted the young people coming up. That's the indoctrination. They wanted the young people like us coming up, you know, to believe, say, the NDCP, the PNDC, NDC, or JJ Rawlings PNDC were evil, and that anybody who tries to entertain the history of PNDC, not JJ Rawlings, that person or your mambo for. A certain generation never associated themselves with the NDC, because the moment you do that, you are seen as somebody who supports crime. And it's like when you went into our various universities, our tertiary institutions, you saw few people being part of NDC youth groups. They were scared to be part of it because we had already been brainwashed in our primary schools and our senior high schools before entering our tertiary institutions. So the moment you try to join such a group, you yourself started feeling guilty because some people will see you say, now we're joining NDC. And that was how the Jandam started. That was how the brainwash started. And that is how the NPP became relevant from 1992 to 2024.